Thanks for staying with us. You're still on to Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA. Up next is newspaper review.
Okay, time for newspaper review, and Chukwudi Okolubaja is in the building. Good morning, Chukwudi Okolubaja.
I am in the studio. You have to learn accuracy of information.
The studio is in a building.
Carry on with your argument. My brother, I'm here live and direct. Maybe I should talk to you only. Somebody is not in the mood for direct communication. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, and you?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
See you guys.
Good to see you.
All right, let's begin with the leadership newspaper this morning, which has two stories above the nameplate. NCC orders telcos to block stolen SIMs in 5 minutes. NCC orders telcos to block stolen SIMs in 5 minutes. You find that story on page 29. And beside it, no record of ex-CJN or Noga's CCT case file. That's according to Attorney General Fagbemi. Page 16 has details of that story. And the major headline here leads 2027, Shekarau, Ado, Yakasai, Tafida, others float Northern Democrats. 221 register as LND members, mobilize for strategic summit. Engage key stakeholders for support. We are worried about insecurity, hunger, poverty. Those are the three riders. And then you see the picture story here, detailing people collecting water from taps at the Muja camp for the internally displaced persons amid an outbreak of Mpox. Of course, that's somewhere near the Republic of Congo. Okay, let's leave this story here for now, but not without saying this one on page 7, Labour CSOs fume over police invitation to NLC president. Again, that story is on page 7. We move on to the blueprint. Of course, the story of the former CJN is also here and is on page 10. The major headline here, though, is independent petroleum producers, crude supply to Dangote refinery. Others must be on willing buyer, willing seller basis. It has two riders. NNPCL explains 7.2% stake in Dangote refinery. And one private sector can't be used to subsidize another. That's according to IPPG. Okay? And just below, above the nameplate here, banks' assets rise to 121.8 trillion naira in 2023. For details, go to page 18, I beg your pardon, of the blueprint. And then AFCON qualifiers. New Super Eagles coach Anderson misses opening match. That story is on page 32. Is there any more big story here? ITUC NLC Slack cry foul over Ajero's police invitation. Labour wants, threatens showdown. CSO urges transparency. And our client will appear August 29. Falano writes police. I think we should leave it here. Ademola.
You have two papers.
I've done the two.
Oh, okay. All right. So I have the Nigerian Tribune with me. And above the nameplate, appeal court upholds judgment notifying Shuaibu's impeachment as Edo deputy governor. Details can be found on page 4. U.S. announces 27 million humanitarian aid for Nigeria. That story can be found on page 13. Akume Edo Kadoso Fagbemi 6 orders to enforce Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy. Details can be found on page 8. And we have Ondo establishes Amotekun Rangers to curb forest crime. Also, the story can be found on page 13. Ododo appoints 1,102 aides. That's in
Well, it's nothing new.
Kogi State.
It's nothing new for Kogi.
All right. So that story can be found, details can be found on page 3. Enugu government set to demolish property used for kidnapping. Details on page 26. And the major headline, we have police versus Ajero. NLC's 54 affiliate unions threaten mass action if, says, invitation politically motivated. NLC Council writes, IGP says Ajero will appear next week. Stop this intimidation, judicial harassment. ITC tells federal government. Details on page 2. CBN records all-time high remittance inflows of $553 million in July. Details on page 7. 21-year-old undergraduate contracted to act as girlfriend killed by ritualist in Kwara. Details on page 26. Lekki Communities family give Lagos government 30-day ultimatum over land acquisition. Details on page 5. Fubara denies plan to dump PDP. Wike must go for PDP to survive. Clark tells Damugo in open letter. 5 years after trial, AGF office has no record of ex-CGN Onoge's CCTV case file. Chooks.
Yeah. Let me start with the Northern Democrats. The complaint is that development is not happening in the North as it should, and this does not represent the interest of any Northerner that is interested in preservation. Because if security is not profoundly there on the ground, if food is not coming the way it should, half the way it should, then people's security is indeed threatened. Let's pray that this is genuinely an attempt to return the North to that solid, gigantic, really, profile it had in terms of determining, to some extent, the direction of Nigeria, the Nigerian politics. It is nothing to do with we are better politicians than you over there or whatever. The truth is that the sheer number of voters in the North naturally gives the North a big clout, quite some clout in terms of determining how democracy goes.
Bargaining power?
Elections, bargaining power, yeah, is a very big chip there on the table. So let's pray that these men, I should call them statesmen, given the stature of each of them. Shekarau, Adoya, Kasai, Tafida, these are not names you just gloss over, So I pray that something really happens. Because if the North stays the way it is, the rest of the country is going to feel it. That's the way it is.
Yeah, you're right. Imagine what happened during the last protests.
Oh, sure.
Especially in the North.
Yes.
It tells a lot.
Exactly. It tells a lot. It tells you that a lot of things need to be done in the North. You heard Kaduna State Governor Obasani, all the things he said, which were practically self-indicting. You understand? So everyone in the North, not just these people, we mentioned their names, should rally to return the North to the green light again, and give them the opportunity to, reorganize that very strategic and important part of the country. But maybe more importantly, fine, these people are scheming, scheming is not used negatively, towards 2027. But maybe more importantly, peer group review by the governors of the North is much more at the center of what we need to do to make the North regain its prominence and its health. It doesn't matter the party you belong to. Whether you're APC, PDP, come together and say, these are the things we need to do. How did you handle this? What are we doing about flooding? What are we planning against possible food insecurity, ahead of us and all that. Peer group review, very important there.
For them to work together.
Yes. I just mentioned food, and there's this one there, Caribbean countries offer to help Nigeria boost food security. That was the Consular General of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Levi Odwe, speaking. And do you know what he's advocating? Have a small garden behind you. When Udoji's salaries came in those days, Adebo wages and all that, that was when Nigerians got lazy, because a little money got into their pockets. And we forgot that you don't need to buy vegetable you eat. That's exactly what this man is talking about.
And that has been the, what's it called? The campaign of the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu.
Yes.
That, you can, wherever you live, you can have a small garden. You can use all these sacks. You don't even have to have a big one. You can use sacks, and there's a way that, you have to punch it and fill it with all the necessary, fertilizer and all that, and you grow whatever you need in your compound.
I think people also need more enlightenment on the matter.
I think
it's not the arduous task people think it is. Growing things you can eat.
Yes.
Some of us who are stealthily, cautiously getting into farming will tell you that perhaps the most difficult thing to farm in this part of the country is maize, because it's very sensitive to rains.
Yeah.
But groundnuts, beans is the easiest. You spray your herbicides, plant your beans, you weed only once. Just make sure you spray the herbicides. You're going to weed only once after planting, really, if you spray properly. Then when it comes to the insecticides, spray about 3 times. And there you are harvesting. So we need more information. In those days when extension workers were very prominent,
Yeah, you're right.
we gain from them directly.
Yeah, that's
Where
true.
are they?
That's true.
Everything can't go down at the same time in the country.
Well, we just need to keep talking about it.
Yes, of course. I like
There's this story I missed, which should interest you.
What is that?
Cooking gas prices drop. 5 kg now 5,974, as against 6,966 in July. And that story is on page 19. But I can hear from all around me people saying that's not true.
I bought cooking gas just 6 days ago. The 12.5 kg, the man gave it to me for 13,000 naira. I don't know that's a drop, except something, really drastic has happened. And between 5 days ago and now, that crashed or dropped the prices. But even the two figures you reeled out, I wouldn't call that a...
Same July, I think it was 1,200 per kg I bought.
Okay, you're looking at the unit.
Yeah, of course. That's how you arrive here.
Yes.
That's how you arrive here.
Oh, well, whatever it is, I have always said that if gas, kerosene remain very expensive...
That's core. I think it's still a drop. It's still a drop.
Oh, it's okay. If gas, kerosene remain exorbitant, their prices in the market, Nigeria is not helping the touted need to halt the advance of the desert. We have to do something about those fuels.
Yeah, we'll keep doing something about it. Thank you very much, Chooks. We have to draw the curtain here on the newspaper review. We'll now take a break. Good Morning Nigeria continues. Stay with us.